Well, there's good news and there's bad news. So the good news is I've been able to upgrade some of my woodworking machines, and I've acquired a whole bunch of new tools for free, which is great, and you know, it's a good problem to have. The bad news is that the reason I've done so is because Dad's health has taken a rather dramatic turn for the worse, and he can't use these tools anymore. Now, he's been saying to me basically most of my life, someday these tools will be yours. I've been borrowing things from him for years. I've had tools on kind of long-term loan forever kind of thing. So at some point I was, putting it bluntly, expecting to inherit his tools. And that hasn't happened yet, but unfortunately what has happened is he's now in a position where he can't use the tools, he can't remember how to use them. We kind of want to take them away so he doesn't attempt to use them and do something that's not safe because he can't remember how to do it safely. We haven't lost Dad, but we kind of have lost Dad. He's not gone, but he's not the same man anymore. And I wasn't ready for that. He's got a 4-car workshop, a 4-car garage as a workshop. I've got a 9x13 little workshop space and an outbuilding that needs a lot of attention in order to be usable, really. So at the moment, I'm trying to fit a size 6 amount of tools into a size 3 space, and it's like a tornado has hit my workshop. It's absolute carnage. I'll give you a look round on the camera and spin round. But I mean, I don't know why. I just thought I'd film this and put this out. I don't really kind of feel I owe anyone an explanation as such, but I did say a few videos ago that I was hoping to do a bit more, that in finishing my masters I'd free up some time and be able to tackle some of the projects that have been on my wish list for a while, and that I was going to do videos on them. And then I haven't come good on that, and the reason is all this other stuff has kicked off. Dad's been in and out of hospital. I've been having to deal with lots of things through lasting power of attorney. And yeah, we're now trying to clear out the house so it can be sold, because they're going to have to downsize, my parents, and move to a bungalow near a family and free up funds for care and blah blah. So yeah, that's the reason why I haven't been uploading. And my workshop at the moment is absolute carnage, so I can't really do a lot with it. I'll show you around, you'll see what I mean. So there are lots of small problems to overcome in terms of organisation and storage. I've picked up this bench grinder from my dad. He had it permanently mounted to a bench because he had enough bench space to do that. I'm not going to have space for that, so I'm going to fix that to a block of wood and have it demountable, and hopefully store it under the bench here so that you know, I can just hold it in the vise when I want to use it and put it away when it's not in use. Under the bench at the moment, I've emptied a load of stuff out, but there's still a box of hand tools and stuff I picked up and bits and pieces, and it's really not at all organised. You can see I've got part way through sorting out some bits and pieces. I was cleaning and sharpening some chisels from Dad's that I've given to my nephew. But that's kind of small fry. The big issues, got a bigger bandsaw, as I say, good problem to have, I realise. This is a Kitey, don't know what the model number is, don't know how old it is. I suspect probably 30 years old, I don't know, something like that. Dad's had this as long as I can remember. I had my little Aldi Ferex 10-inch bandsaw, which I'm still pretty impressed with for the price. For a cheap tool, it was really good. This is, you know, sturdier, better quality, much bigger cutting capacity, more powerful motor, so there's advantages to having it. Obviously, it takes up more room. The other thing is, this is one of the most awkward setups for filming a video ever because of the congestion at the moment, but there we go, you can now see that properly. So yeah, it's a Kitey, it's a bigger tool. You've got a much bigger throat and much bigger maximum cut depth, which is good, and there's a few different blades with it. And Dad had it on a leg stand that he'd welded up himself with wheels and handles, nice sturdy steel stand. It's really good, but he's got the space, he didn't need any storage underneath it. So me being clever, I thought I'll put it on the sort of shelf unit that I built for the little Ferrex, and then I've got storage in that footprint, which is great, except I'd forgotten that the dust extraction on this is underneath, so that's now blocked up. I've got the shelves full of routers and router cutters and my Dremel router attachment and stuff. I've actually managed to get all that stuff together in one place, which is good. And I was quite pleased with this idea. I've put the mitre gauge on a little cleat on the side of that shelf unit. More efficient use of space because it's quite big, and it just wouldn't be any good in the shelves. It would really block those up, so if that'll focus. So I've done that. So I'm kind of starting to get a bit organised, but this is the kind of problem I've got. I've got that planer thicknesser, the dust extractor. I need to somehow fit in this. So I'm going from a little benchtop pillar drill to big old beast. This Dad must have bought new around the time he finished building the house. He's a retired carpenter and builder, so he built the house himself. I've never really seen the back of this before, because where it was mounted, it's been permanently in the same place the whole time. There's a plaque on the back of there that says that was made in 1983, and that would be about right for the time. So there's the issue. Dad's been accumulating stuff in that workshop for 42 years, and we now need to get it out, deal with it all, let alone the house as well. I've got boxes of stuff. It's just carnage. And actually, in all honesty, if you think this is a lot of stuff and a bit of a storage and organisation problem, you haven't seen half of it. It's actually worse than this looks, or better depending on how you look at it. As I say, first world problems. I've acquired a lot of free, good quality tools and woodworking machines. It's not something to complain about. Very sad about the manner in which that's happened, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I've got a couple of big storage boxes down in the outbuilding at the moment, trying to keep things weather tight because the building isn't 100%. But you know, I've acquired a scroll saw, which I'm going to hopefully put in place of that little benchtop pillar drill, which should be really good. I haven't measured check if it'll actually fit. If not, I'm going to have to rethink that one, but I'm really keen to try that out. I'd sort of forgotten that Dad had got it, if I'm honest. He hasn't used it for ages. I've got one of two lathes already here, dismantled and boxed up. There is a second lathe to go. There are lots of other things to go. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a tricky thing to kind of deal with. Happens. The irony is that before the need to clear all this stuff out actually kind of happened, and we started being overwhelmed by a tidal wave of tools, and there's a tidal wave of wood to follow, by the way. But before that happened, ironically enough, I dragged my ever-patient wife to a vintage tool fair. It was a couple of hours drive away. I maybe wouldn't bother going again. It wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be for a 2-hour drive, but it was interesting. It was quite good. We made a long weekend of it, stayed up there, had a nice time. I bought some tools. Like, this is the funny thing. Before getting this, I was looking for a router plane. I managed to get this this Stanley number 71 with three cutters. It's got the fence. It's got the little infill bit there. It's complete. It needed a little cleaning up, which I've done, and it's, you know, not in bad nick. And I've sharpened the one blade that's in there. I didn't get around to sharpening these two before. Things all went a bit pear-shaped. But that was exactly what I was looking for. Well pleased to find that at a sensible price. I also, and I knew Dad didn't have one, you know, so I couldn't just borrow one from him. What I didn't realise was he did have a Stanley 271, a little mini router plane, which I now have. That was sitting neglected in a box and is in need of a little cleaning up, so I'm partway through dealing with that. What else? I got a couple of carving gouges, which were just, you know, decent quality old tools. I think one's a Marples. I don't know what make the other was. I can't remember now, but you know, at a good price. And randomly, I picked up a heavier carving mallet because I've got this one that Dad gave me many years ago, which is his one from when he was carving. He subsequently turned to wood turning, if you'll indulge me in a pun, and sort of never looked back, didn't really do any carving after that. But yeah, he's got this one. This is a Marples Beach mallet. It's perfectly serviceable. I've used it quite a bit. I will continue to use it quite a bit. It's nice to use Dad's mallet, but it's a little bit light. So I picked up this one. This is a little bit heavier. This is some form of African rosewood, apparently, according to the chap I bought it from at the tool fair. It's a nice thing. It's been clearly sort of glued together in two halves lengthways and then turned, so the handle is one piece with the head, if you see what I mean. The Marples one, if this will focus on it, is joined on, so you've got a separate handle. Doesn't really tend to come loose, but if there's a lot of humidity change where you're using it, it can. And you know, ultimately it's probably not as strong as this. This is effectively one piece, although as I say, it's joined kind of longitudinally. So that was quite nice. Not too expensive. And I've now got a surfeit of mallets. I've got a tiny one that was in Dad's workshop. I thought, you know, I'll have that as well. Why not? But yeah, a lot of the stuff I'm collecting, I'm going to obviously use, hopefully. I plan to use, and some of it's really interesting stuff. One or two things, if I'm honest, I'm keeping just because. So my nephew wanted a hammer. He was after any hammers he could get, and there was one with a black handle in much better nick than this, and I said, have that one. And I've kept the one that is absolutely knackered, because this one was out on site with my dad for 50 years of a building career. I remember this as being Dad's hammer. It's the one he's always had. So it's going to sit there, and no, there's nothing wrong with my hammer that I bought for £1 from a car boot sale many years ago, and they've been using ever since. It's perfectly serviceable, so I'm probably going to carry on using that one. Dad's hammer's just going to sit there and be Dad's hammer. But, you know, it's a nice thing to have. There's some interesting little bits I've found, and perhaps I'll do a video at some point on some of the bizarre things I've discovered in Dad's workshop. This little vise is really cool. It's made in England, Wilson. I think from a very brief little look online that this might be kind of 1930s vintage, and I would imagine it came from one of my grandfather's houses, but I don't actually know, unfortunately. It's got a kind of multi-faceted rear jaw to it, so you can hold all kinds of odd shaped things, and it seems to have been a thing for jewellers and model makers and whatever, small scale stuff. And it was just sat on a windowsill in Dad's workshop gathering dust. I don't know whether he's ever used it. Maybe, like me, he acquired it from his dad or mum's dad and just thought, there's an interesting little thing that might be useful at some point, I'll hang on to that. And it could have been sat there for the last, I don't know, 30 plus years unused. I don't know. There's no guarantee I'm going to use it frequently, but I definitely think it could be useful. Actually, in sharpening one of those Stanley 71 blades, it would have been quite a handy thing to have. So yeah, there's that. There's lots of oddities. There's all sorts of interesting little things. I found some old style mitre clamps, which are quite interesting. I'll like to give them a go. I picked up some old school fast action clamps. These are the solo clamp. I think these were some of the first that came onto the market, you know. And I mean, basically, as you can see, it's a repurposed mastic gun mechanism. Still works, seems to be pretty strong, quite decent. So I think I'll wrap this one up there. it's turning into a bit of a ramble, to be honest, and it's difficult to know what to say about this sort of thing. As I say, you know, there's good and there's bad to it. Mostly bad, it's how it feels, to be honest, but you know, it's a good problem to have all these tools and woodworking machines available to me. Wasn't the way I expected it to happen. I mean, the way I expected it to happen, I suppose, would also have been very sad, wouldn't it, in due course. But you know, I don't know. It's not good. It's not good, but it is good. There's a silver lining to every cloud, I guess. Anyway, I thought I'd put this up just because I felt like it, really. I felt like kind of putting something out to explain why I just said, oh, I'm going to reinvigorate my YouTube channel, and then kind of gone a bit quiet again. And that's why. So if you made it this far through the video, thanks for watching. All being well, hopefully I will still find the time to get into all these projects. I need to spend a lot of time sorting out these things. I mean, that pillar drill weighs an absolute ton, so that definitely needs to go on a mobile base of some form. I've ordered some more of the same casters. I've got the planer thicknesser and the bandsaw on. They're just cheap Amazon ones, but they're rated to 600 kilos. So my thinking is, even if their quality control is really bad and they're 100% out, they're still going to be plenty strong enough. And they're about 20 quid. So, you know, that's worth considering if you have a similar weighty machine that you need to move around. There'll be lots of stuff to do like that. I need to totally rethink this workshop in some ways and just reorganise things. And how much of that I'm going to film, I don't know. Maybe some. Once I've got myself sorted out, or hopefully be back to actually making things and doing the stuff I want to do. So yeah, as I say, thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, then that's appreciated, and well, till I maybe see you again, all the best.